In this session, we will discuss the first 1,000 days of life and why this is such a critical stage in child development. We will also look at the role SEL, or social emotional learning, plays in building healthy brains. We will outline why SEL is critical in helping young children transition from preschool to primary school. Let's begin with a short simulation video on how brains develop in the first 1,000 days of life.
A child's experiences during the earliest years of life have a lasting impact on the architecture of the developing brain. Genes provide the basic blueprint, but experiences shape the process that determines whether a child's brain will provide a strong or weak foundation for all future learning, behavior, and health. During this important period of brain development, billions of brain cells called neurons send electrical signals to communicate with each other. These connections form circuits that become the basic foundation of brain architecture. Circuits and connections proliferate at a rapid pace and are reinforced through repeated use. Our experiences and environment dictate which circuits and connections get more use. Connections that are used more grow stronger and more permanent. Meanwhile, connections that are used less fade away through a normal process called pruning. Well-used circuits create lightning-fast pathways for neural signals to travel across regions of the brain. Simple circuits form first, providing a foundation for more complex circuits to build on later. Through this process, neurons form strong circuits and connections for emotions, motor skills, behavioral control, logic, language, and memory during the early critical period of development. With repeated use, these circuits become more efficient and connect to other areas of the brain more rapidly. While they originate in specific areas of the brain, the circuits are interconnected. You can't have one type of skill without the others to support it. Like building a house, everything is connected, and what comes first forms a foundation for all that comes later.
Up to 80% of a human being's intellectual capacity is formed during the first 1,000 days. During this period, 1 million new neural connections are created every second. Truly amazing. This is human potential. What takes place socially during this time shapes this intellectual capacity. As the video points out, parents and other adult caretakers promote brain health through responsive social care and good nutrition. This slide summarizes what we saw in the video simulation. Brains are built over time in the earliest years. Simple skills come first, more complex skills build on top of them. Importantly, social and emotional capacities are intertwined with cognitive development and academic achievement. You cannot learn to read or write if you cannot concentrate, manage your emotions, or get along with other people. This conceptual graph shows how different sets of skills develop at different times in the brain, and how more complex skills build on more basic skills that come before. Circuits build circuits, and skills beget skills. The prenatal period and the first year of life are extended in this graph to show more clearly how much growth occurs in this time frame. Note that the rapid proliferation of neural connections is followed by a drop-off. That's the natural process of pruning, which helps the brain become more efficient by eliminating connections that are not being used. This is critical when we consider the timing of our public investments. The brain is doing its formative building and even pruning at a very young age, even before formal school begins. It's critical for those circuits that are supposed to be built at each stage to be used well and frequently for them to provide a strong foundation for the more complex circuits that come later. Neuroscience, the science of how the brain develops, helps explain why young people's social, emotional, and academic development are linked. Besides basic physiological needs like nutrition, exercise, and sleep, the brain requires social relationships, emotional experiences, and cognitive resources to develop and take advantage of learning opportunities. From brain structures to brain chemicals, learning takes place on an emotional level. Awareness of emotion and regulating those emotions lead the way to building positive relationships, successfully solving problems, and making responsible decisions. If we put a 4-month-old child on the floor and watch her, we would see that she is constantly moving her arms and legs, reaching for things in her line of vision, and putting objects in her mouth. She explores. Indeed, from our earliest days, exploration and play are how we relate to the world and each other. When children have plenty of opportunities to learn playfully, they do what they do best, pursue their natural curiosity. And as they do, they build skills and aptitudes they will keep for life. Through play, toddlers learn about big emotions like frustration, guilt, and shame. Play is great for back-and-forth interactions which support toddlers' emotional development. Play ideas to develop toddler emotions include imaginative play, singing, reading, and messy play. Indeed, play ought to be the bedrock of preschool curriculum, along with pre-literacy and numeracy skills, and will lay the foundation for school success moving forward. The first 1,000 days set the stage for fulfilling individual potential. The road to college attainment, higher wages, and social mobility starts at birth. The best matrix of child poverty may have to do not with income, but with how often a child is spoken to, read to, and engaged in supportive play and exploration.